People who've been training for 1 to 3 years have been training in the same rep ranges with the same exercise for months and not seen any change. Welcome to the YouTube channel, guys, here at New Year Physiques. I am Coach Dan. So obviously this week we've been going to be talking about in terms of progressive overload. And most people who've been training for 1 to 3 years have been training in the same rep ranges with the same exercise for months and not seen any change. And the reason why is because there is one number that determines your growth and your potential in terms of what you can grow muscle-wise in the gym. And a lot of people aren't actually tracking that and actually looking into that. So we've all heard the 3 sets by 8 to 12 is the muscle building rep range. And this originated back in the 1950s with bodybuilders and also exercise scientists that felt like it was a very good range in terms of mechanical tension and producing the pump, essentially. But there wasn't actually that much scientific background to it. Now, in more recent times, we've actually discovered that basically 5 to 30 rep ranges are actually where you can grow muscle. That's not necessarily that small window of 8 to 12 that actually grows it. Anything in terms of rep ranges from 5 to 10, or 10 to 20, or even 15 to 30 reps can actually induce hypertrophy or muscle growth. So what does this mean? This means that any of the programs that you see that are 3 or 4 sets by 8 to 12 on every single exercise is actually not a muscle building program. It's just a generic program. It's got nothing to do with actually the driver in terms of muscle growth. The main drivers are going to be what I'm going to talk about. And these are actually what you need to start tracking in terms of looking to build muscle as a busy guy. And it actually proves as well that your split really doesn't matter either. As long as you're tracking these drivers in terms of growth, it doesn't really matter what rep ranges you do, what split you do. If you are consistent in terms of tracking these metrics, you will build muscle. So in terms of actually why the 8 to 12 rep range isn't actually that important is the beginner's paradox. We've all heard about newbie gains. And basically with this is beginners who go into the gym do everything wrong. They lift wrong, they try everything, they just don't actually understand what they are doing, but yet they still make progress. And why is this? The reason why this is because every single weight they do, every single exercise they do is new to their body, and their body has to adapt to that. And what is actually new to them is the load. They actually need to adapt to the load that they're placing on their body. And that is the main primary driver to muscle growth, load and progression of load. And this is what we need to actually understand in terms of looking at and tracking is load. A lot of people will think that it's the rep ranges. Unfortunately, it is not. It's actually basically you placing a new load on the body and increasing the demand for it to actually adapt to that load, hence growing muscle. So you need to ask the question, if the reps were the real driver, then beginners would. So if you were actually to look at in terms of if reps were the real driver in terms of muscle growth, then beginners wouldn't grow or basically improve without a very, very good structure. And yet we see beginners improve with no structure at all. So that's why basically the rep range of 8 to 12 and rep ranges don't necessarily matter. So as I said, what actually drives growth? And it's stimulus. Stimulus drives growth. You've got 2 basically drivers of this. Your number 1 driver is going to be your load. Your number 2 driver is going to be basically your volume. Your load essentially is going to be how much load you are or how much load you are lifting when you are performing the exercise. The volume is in terms of how many reps and sets you are doing. And we can basically alter these two variables in terms of what your demand is being placed on your body for you to actually see growth and progression in the gym. With this, most people don't track it. And this is the problem. A lot of people just get into the habit of lifting to a number of reps with the same amount of weight week in, week out, and they never see any progress. Once they flip that switch in terms of actually looking at these two drivers, changing reps, changing load, and changing volume, then they actually start to see progression that they have never seen before. So they could be doing 2, 3, 4 years of this in terms of the same sets, same exercises, same reps every single week and not see any progression. And as soon as they change that one little thing in terms of that driver, in terms of load, and start progressing on that, they will start to see progression. So your body doesn't actually respond to effort. It actually responds to the demands placed on it. And these demands are, as I said, load and volume. So why is the 8 to 12 rep range so popular? Well, what it is it's a comfortable range. It's a comfortable plateau. It's the area that people feel like they have a system and that they can actually hit this number of reps and feel like they are doing work. In reality, though, basically they are just going in autopilot. They aren't actually looking to basically make any progress. And that is the problem with the 8 to 12 rep range in terms of people going in and just hitting a number of reps, but not actually understanding what they need to do in terms of placing demand on their body, as I said, for them to grow. So realistically, if you are looking to progress, the question you need to ask yourself is, are one, you lifting more than you were the week before via volume, or are you lifting more than the week before via load? And if you are changing these two variables each time, each week, for example, I'm going to give you one example. Last week, you did 50 kilos on a bench press for 10 reps, and this week you did 50 kilos for 11 reps. That means then you have progressed. What happens then basically is as you hit a target number of reps, you increase that weight from 50 kilos to 55 kilos. And then you might only get 8 reps and you work your way back up to that higher end rep range again before you add another 5 kilos. And that is basically just a very simplistic term in terms of what progressive overload. And it seems so simple, but that's exactly what it is. People try and overcomplicate things with, looking at the best split and the best rep range and all that sort of stuff. And basically muscle building is very, very simple and does not need to be overcomplicated. So coming back to it, you don't have a rep range problem. You don't have a perfect split problem. You have a progression problem and you aren't tracking your progression correctly. And once you're able to dial that in, you will start to see a lot more progress coming in the gym. So what I would do is basically stop focusing on rep ranges, pick a rep range that you feel is good for you, but start focusing on load and volume, alternating those, progressing on those, and you will start to see more progress. And then you need to each session ask yourself this question: did I do more than I did last session? And if you did, you will progress. So I actually have a question now for you. Comment below how long you've been lifting for versus how many of your lifts have actually progressed over those years. And I want honest answers. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit the subscribe button for more content like this. Thanks for watching, guys, and hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks, guys, for watching, and hit the like button and the subscribe button for more content like this.